Hello, and welcome back to Travel by 2. My name is Robbie, and I've lived car-free for the past 2 years now. And I love traveling by 2. Commuting at about 10 miles an hour through the world is a super intimate way to get to see the sights, smell the smells, and hear the sounds of the place that you live. Plus, I never have to worry about finding a parking spot, which is a huge plus in San Francisco. There's just one problem. A while ago, I rented a car to do an installation job for a friend, and now that I don't have the car anymore, I can't get my tools back to work. They don't fit in my backpacks. I've tried carrying them one-handed. I've tried strapping them to my head. I've tried towing them behind me. And I've even tried hitchhiking. But I just can't seem to get them back to work. And as much as I love using my drill as a blender for pancake mix, I have a feeling they're not very happy about being degraded to kitchen appliances. So I really need to figure out how to get them back to work. Now, some of you might say, Robbie, all you need is a pannier rack. To which I'd say, I had to Google how to even pronounce pannier.
Pannier, Pangea, Pannier, pancake.
So what makes you think I can afford one? And to REI, I just have to say, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have any money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for companies like you. I will find you. And I will. Build my own. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that dramatic. I just got caught up watching Taken. Now, I actually love REI. I'm just what some people call cheap. Plus, why else would I pour blood, sweat, and tears into learning woodworking skills if I'm not going to use them? I'm not exactly betting on becoming a hand model. So I took a few measurements and made up a quick design for a pannier rack. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here, just going for a simple rack design. Plus, I'm only building the rack for the sole purpose of transporting my tools back to work, because I can't think of any other reason I'd need it. So I won't go crazy because I'm probably just going to throw it away when I'm done using it. So I went to Home Depot to pick up an aluminum bar that I would need to attach the rack to the frame of the bike. And at least this time, I wasn't the only one that took my bike. And being a woodworker isn't the most efficient way to pay the bills, but at least I get access to free scrap wood, which is great because I'm using teak for this project, which is priced like gold these days. So now it was just time to start milling the wood down to size. Once I was done with that, I cut a slot into the pieces that would be receiving the aluminum bar. And if you're wondering how I drilled these holes without my drills, just don't ask. I needed to cut these screws down a little bit because they were slightly too long. But it also serves as a good warning to anyone that tries to overprice bike merchandise. I just want you to know who you're working with here. needed to cut a notch where the vertical board would intersect the horizontal board, and the notch needed to be the same width as the vertical board. So I used it as a reference, made one cut, replaced it with a piece that was the same width as the blade, made another cut, and then cleared out the waste in between. And that gave me a perfect fit. I wanted a taper on the back of the rack for aesthetic purposes, so I set up this simple jig by offsetting the board a few millimeters over the edge, attaching some stop blocks, measuring the width of the jig, and running it through the saw. And I ended up with a nice taper and a couple of nice shims as a bonus. Then I set up a saw blade dado stack that matched the width of the top slats of the rack. Attached a spacer that was also the same width, and that allowed me to make repeatable, evenly spaced grooves that would fit the rack slats perfectly. Then I glued the vertical pieces into the horizontal pieces. Once it was dry, I was finally able to do the first dry fit on the bike. I made sure the rack was leveled, and then began bending the aluminum bars so that they could meet the frame. And again, don't ask how I was able to drill that hole. Then I cut the bars down to size and rounded the edges and polished the metal. And after fitting the rear support bracket, it was finally time to glue everything up. Somewhere around this point, I wondered how many Pannier racks REI must have sold in the time that it took me to make this one. But at least none of them will be as cool as this. And there it is, the final product. I'm thrilled with how this turned out. It's rock solid, super lightweight, and it complements the gum wall tires of my bike beautifully. Now for the moment of truth. I can practically hear my drills screaming for joy as I strap them to the rack. They're finally homebound. Now, I don't know how much you know about bikes, but there's supposed to be a derailleur right about here. And there's also supposed to be a chain connecting my back cassette to my chainring by my feet there. Unfortunately, while I was building this rack, I went on an off-road excursion and a branch got caught in my derailleur, pulled it into my spokes, and ripped it right off the frame. So while my bike is being fixed, my friend let me borrow his fixed gear bike, called a Fixie. And it's actually been a joy to ride. It's such a simple and refined biking experience, and I never have to worry about being in the wrong gear because I'm always in the wrong gear. So let me know if you'd want to see a spin-off series called The Fixie Files, documenting my adventures on this bike while mine is getting repaired. In the meantime though, my drills are just going to have to wait a little bit longer to return to their home. But yeah, just wish me luck.